There's no need to be nervous, Captain. We're just filling some records cabinets in the morale section with these.
I'm not nervous, Comrade Major.
Very well. Interview number 461. Subject, Captain Nikolai Malashenko, service number 2497-4. Interview conducted by Major Lebedev, Section 2, 3rd Directorate KGB. So, Captain, we've been in America for several weeks now. What are your thoughts so far?
Товарищ майор, we are making glorious progress. It is very satisfying. The only thing is...
Is what, Captain?
Well, I have yet to see the proletariat rise and stand with us. Instead, they lay ambushes and run when we try to engage them. They've done some damage.
I suppose we must acknowledge that some may not want us here.
Then we must demonstrate our resolve. Men are lost in war. That is to be expected. But the more of these attacks that go unpunished, the more daring they will become.
And you are proposing?
It is simple. For every ambush, we execute 10 random civilians. They will soon cease their attacks when they realize the price they must pay.
And what if they don't?
Then we should kill them all.
In the face of great adversity, our courageous comrades in America fight on, winning battle after battle against an increasingly desperate enemy. Our troops now occupy most of the American West Coast and soon will have complete victory.
Nobody had counted on the American civilians putting up such resistance. Everywhere we went, we were greeted with bullets. And our battalion had it easy. We had been tasked with pacifying the countryside, while 4 other regiments pushed into the mountains. They were headed toward a town called Cascade Falls, where there was some grand objective not even Colonel Arlovsky knew the details about. All we knew was that it might mean an end to the war. I remember thinking about those comrades, struggling through the cold and the snow, facing death at every turn. And I was ashamed, for I was happy that I wasn't with them.
Comrade Colonel, 14 men dead, 9 wounded. These attacks must be stopped. I strongly suggest
Not now, Kolya. We have already discussed this. The guerrillas will be dealt with according to plan.
But it won't be enough! These are my men lying here!
They are my men too, Captain. Don't ever forget that. Now, will you please get me an updated report on the status of the wounded?
His idea has some merit.
I will not be privy to wholesale slaughter of civilians just so he can satiate his need for revenge.
It might work, though.
Valeri, no. They hate us enough already. We have the location of their camp. That's where we'll strike.
You don't believe in this, do you? You don't think we belong here?
Do you?
Didn't you hear me? They came and fired!
But, Comrade Captain, the Colonel forbade us...
Damn you! A look at idea! Next time, your people will think twice before attacking us.
What is the meaning of this? Get them out of here. Explain yourself, Captain.
They were harboring weapons and food for the insurgents.
I gave explicit orders that there should be no firing squads.
They were aiding the enemy.
That is irrelevant, Captain. You do not have the right to disobey my orders.
But what if your orders are wrong?
If you act without my consent again, I will have you court-martialed and sent home in shame. Is that understood? Is that understood, Nikolai?
No, Colonel. It's not.
What? You think I'm wrong?
It does not matter what I think, does it, Vladimir Vasilyevich? For good or ill, you have chosen your course.
But have you chosen yours, Valery? Sooner or later you will have to.
Hola.
Isabelita? Cariño?
Hi, Daddy. Where are you?
I'm on a fishing trip in the mountains, sweetie. It's beautiful here. Snow everywhere, and the air is so cold you can see your breath.
I want to see snow too.
Soon, corazón. Soon.
Who is it, Isabel?
It's Daddy.
Daddy? Can I talk to him, honey?
Mom wants to talk to you.
Okay, take care, cariño. And I'll see you soon, okay?
Hugs and kisses, Daddy.
Anton?
Yeah.
Honey, are you...
I'm alright, and I'm gonna stay alright. So stay at your mom's, and I'll come and get you when it's over.
But when will that be, Anton?
I don't know. Listen, I have to go. But I'll call you as soon as I can, okay? I love you, mi cielo.
We met Colonel Wilkins at a small town called Cascade Falls, not far from Fort Teller itself. The town had been evacuated not long before, and it was decided that we would hold the area while Wilkins dug in at a narrow mountain pass to the south. Colonel Sawyer planned on luring the Russians into the center of town, where we could concentrate our defenses, but there were a lot of Russians coming, and not that many of us left. Unlike before, we could not retreat, because if we did, Fort Teller would fall, and Armageddon would follow in its wake. We all knew what that meant, and were determined to hold no matter what. Even Bannon seemed to have finally found his way. He was quieter than usual, and I remember wondering what was going on in his mind.
This will be our final stand. We have to stop Ivan from reaching Fort Teller.
What do we got in terms of support?
The Air Force will be flying CAS missions around the clock, but don't count on them to turn the tide. I'm not gonna lie to you, the Russians will throw everything they have at us, and we have to hold no matter what.
We'll hold, Colonel.
We've come a long way, gentlemen, and I trust that you will do what is needed when the time comes.
Colonel Sawyer, sir, the Russians have reached the outer perimeter.
And so it begins. Get to your units. We'll teach Ivan the price of invading our homeland.
Captain, I'm scared.
Yeah. Me too, Thomas. We're doing the right thing. They'll remember us for this. Gunner! Target tank, 11 o'clock!
Identified! Simo up!
Fire!
On the way!
Gunner, fire at will!
On the way!
Eagle 6! Eagle 6! This is Bannon. The Russians are renewing their attack, and they're coming at us with T-80s, BTRs, and BMPs. I also see infantry moving from house to house. This must be the big push. I've lost 2nd Platoon and most of 3rd Platoon as well. We're holding, but they're breaking through. I'll try to pull back a little and get them to follow, but we won't last much longer.
Understood, Captain. I appreciate what you're doing.
Sir, I just want to say I'm sorry.
No need, Captain. I'm humbled to have served with you.
Thank you, sir. Bannon out.
Is this Colonel Jeremiah Sawyer?
Retired?
Not anymore, Colonel. You've been recalled to active duty. We need you in Europe.
I was wondering when you people would call. Has I been giving you a hard time?
The Russians have proven more resourceful than expected, Colonel.
They've made significant gains in Germany, and most of the Sixth Fleet has been destroyed.
Yeah, I heard. So I guess you want me to go to France?
Affirmative, sir. You will command a combined U.S. and NATO task force with the order to drive the Russians out of southern France.
You do know why I was discharged, don't you?
Well, all has been forgiven, Colonel.
I didn't ask for your goddamn forgiveness. You people got us into this mess in the first place. And now you're standing there with your pants down wondering what to do. That's what you get with a bunch of sycophant bureaucrats making all the decisions.
Do you accept the command, Colonel?
When do I leave?
A small band of ragged defenders fleeing the nuclear explosion in Cascade Falls had come a long way from the proud battalion landing in France in the early fall of 1989. It was months before the invasion of Seattle, and the Third World War had already been raging in Europe for several weeks. The outbreak had been sudden, if not unexpected. High-level diplomatic talks were still going on when Russian tanks started rolling through the Fulda Gap and on into West Germany. The diplomats had failed, and the armies had taken over. The U.S. Sixth Fleet was destroyed during the initial fight, and the Russians followed their success with an amphibious landing near Marseille. The French army was pushed back hard, but U.S. reinforcements soon arrived to join a counterattack aimed at throwing the Russians back into the Mediterranean. We were all part of that endeavor, the unproven warriors of our generation, spoiling for a fight and happy that our time had finally come.
Then we'll flank them to the right while the cavalry draws fire.
Oui, but we do have a problem. Captain Bannon reporting for duty. Ready to kick ass and take names, sir.
You're an hour late, Captain.
I'm sorry, sir. I got held up by this girl in the village.
Your excuses don't interest me. This is Lieutenant Parker, and this is Commandant Sabatier, our French liaison officer. Charlie Company is waiting for you by a farm just beyond this patch of forest. You can actually see it from here.
Yeah,
Get over there now. We're moving into the attack within the hour.
Yes, sir.
Very eager. He'll be dead by dinner.
We'll see. Where were we, Commandant? You lost one of your officers?
Yes, a sous-lieutenant. The fool stepped on a mine.
Parker can handle that command.
You want your lieutenant to lead my men? But that is unheard of.
Do you doubt the competence of my officers, Commandant?
Vous arrogants américains, vous pensez que vous dirigez le monde comme il vous plaît? Ah, c'est pas possible. Incroyable.
Nous avons une guerre à gagner et je vais faire ce qui me semble nécessaire. My decision stands. Now let's get to work.
Zut alors!
Allô?
Bonjour Colette, c'est Jean.
Jean, espèce de salaud. Tu devais m'appeler il y a 2 jours, j'ai cru que tu étais mort.
Jamais mon amour, jamais, je te promets. Alors tout va bien?
Il y a eu un autre raid aérien hier.
On a constamment des coupures d'électricité.
Salauds soviétiques. Mais bientôt on sera débarrassé d'eux. Nous avons fait beaucoup de progrès avec les Américains.
Alors, vous gagnez?
Oh oui, oh, le colonel américain. C'est un vrai salopard. Ses plans de bataille sont complètement farfelus. Mais ça marche.
J'ai rêvé que tu étais mort l'autre nuit. Je me suis réveillée en pleurant.
S'il te plaît, calme-toi mon amour. Je serai de retour très bientôt. Nous irons sur le balcon pour discuter. Jusqu'à ce que le soleil se couche. Et ensuite, on verra.
Tu retourneras auprès de ta femme?
Oh, allons, mais enfin... Ma femme m'effraie bien plus que les rouges. Mais je m'occuperai de ça aussi.
Sois prudent, d'accord?
Allez, ne t'inquiète pas. Nous nous battrons demain, mais je t'appelle dès que c'est fini. Je t'aime, mon amour.
The Russians proved to be tough adversaries, giving ground only when they absolutely had to and making sure we paid a high price for every yard we gained. But after a few days, a gap opened in the Soviet lines and Colonel Sawyer ordered several companies through. The Soviet headquarters had been found, and we were to destroy it as swiftly as possible. If we succeeded, the Soviet defenses would collapse and France would be liberated, but if we failed, we would be cut off from the main force and annihilated. It was a daring move, typical of the Colonel. Always aim for a killing blow. Everything else is a waste of time and energy, he said to us once, and that motto seemed to permeate all his decisions. He was always certain, but the world was not. One uncertainty was Captain Bannon, who was acting like a loose cannon. We all wondered what it would take to bring him to heel.
Our vanguard across that bridge.
Those bastards would be well fortified.
Oh, yes. I've ordered an artillery barrage to commence shortly. It should shake them up some.
No quarter should be given. I want these locusts gone from my country.
After today, they will be, Commandant. Parker, I want you to lead the attack. Bannon will be in reserve.
Reserve? Sir, my company should form the spearhead.
Your tanks will be needed soon enough, Kent.
But sir, we might miss the battle!
Is this about fame and glory, Captain?
No.
You'll find none of that here. Now go brief your men.
Yes, sir.
That's our cue, Parker. Get your unit. Jump off in 10.